My 59 female, son 34 male, is the one responsible for my granddaughter's one female death. I have no idea how to deal with this and move on with my family. I have two kids. My daughter's daughter passed due to my son's stupidity. My son Andrew married Alexis 8 years ago, and I by no means am a monster in law. Never have been. But Alexis is a nightmare. She is an anti science, pro Facebook science. She is awfully entitled and is sinking all their savings in some LMN scheme. And as such, they decided not to vaccinate their kids. They have a 10-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter. A month ago, my daughter Jenny came over with her baby to pick up some of her old things. She decided to stay for coffee and cake. Andrew and Alexis moved right across from us after the lockdown lifted. My husband and I assumed it was because they were planning on using us as free childcare. Anyway, as Jenny was over, Alexis rang the doorbell. Before I could even say hello, her kids came spilling in. They are nice kids, somewhat bratty, but they do have a heart of gold. I love them so much. But because of them not being vaccinated, I don't like having them around the same time as babies. I tried to keep things calm, but the kids had run upstairs to where Jenny's baby was sleeping and were cuddling with her. I managed to get them to come down, but they had been with the baby for a few minutes. Fast forward a few days. Jenny calls me in tears telling me her and her fiancé are in the hospital because their baby had a high fever and couldn't breathe properly. My husband and I hurried there. Then we spent the most excruciating 17 hours in the hospital that sadly ended with my granddaughter passing away. She had apparently caught whooping cough and her little lungs couldn't handle it. My daughter is absolutely destroyed. I had a stinging suspicion and called my son. I asked him if his kids had been sick. He said they had a nasty cough and a little fever, but that they had managed. I don't know what happened, but I lost it. I just started breathing heavy and crying hard and couldn't say much more but to say that his niece died because of him. He had been calling me and his sister, and we haven't picked up. He has come over multiple times and I have not opened. Tried to calm down and tell myself that it's probable that she caught it from someone else, only that my daughter hadn't taken out my granddaughter to places with kids for almost a month. Maybe at a supermarket or in a walk, but my husband pointed out that it was likelier she caught it through close contact, and it is possible to catch it outside, but not as likely. I feel so mad, so angry, I don't know what to do. I love my other grandkids, and I feel like they are going to suffer with them as parents. How do we go forward? Jenny's never going to forgive Andrew, and I don't know if I can either. My ex-girlfriend got revenge on me, and I'm so broken. I, 25 male, have been with my ex-girlfriend Carly, 23 female, for nearly 10 years. We were high school sweethearts and we had a good relationship up until after she completed college. Adulthood has been putting strain on our relationship, so bills and finding sustaining jobs has been a challenge. We started arguing a bunch and just started overall being annoyed with each other's existence. We weren't sleeping in the same room, let alone being intimate. It was a tough time to say the least. We tried therapy and I felt like it wasn't working. I honestly wanted to be done, but I couldn't break up with her because we lived together and she helped me get out of debt. So I did something horrible and I started cheating on her with her childhood best friend. Ah! What the fudge? I thought she would never find out, and oh my gosh, I was wrong. I am a firm believer that the truth will always come out. Always. Yesterday afternoon, I came home and she wanted to talk, and without hesitation, she jumped straight into it and asked me point blank if I was cheating on her. And I, of course, tried to lie, and she just starts laughing and says, I knew you weren't going to admit it, but I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So now I feel less guilty. I confessed to her, and she just looked at me. She didn't have an expression nor speak. When I finished, she just laughed and told me that I would never forget it. Honestly, it's fine, because Louis was over last weekend and we had a great time. My heart dropped to my... My heart dropped to my stomach because Louis is my big brother. I just thought it was a low blow on Carly, given she knew how insecure I was about my brother. He's a golden child and literally always did things 10 times better than me. I'm stuck having to have some sort of relationship with him, and meanwhile, she can just drop her friend. My chest and heart have been hurting so much since I found out, and I'm so broken. I know I was wrong for cheating first, but if she knew, why didn't she just break up with me first? I called out of work because I feel like throwing up just thinking about it. Brought to my attention that my ex-boyfriend came on here to whine to y'all. Please do not feel bad for him, because that man quite literally left out so many things in his post to try to make me seem like the bad guy. He wants to talk about our relationship to a bunch of strangers. Fine, let's do it. Yes, Mike was right about one thing. The relationship has been strained because of bills and finding well-paying jobs. That's literally because he has refused to work since 2020 when the virus started initially. We have been living off my CNA paycheck and the money my dad inherited to me. The only thing this man freaking did was stay in our guest room to play video games and live stream to his 10 viewers on Twitch and make absolutely no money. Not only did he have the audacity to make zero money, but he got into $8,900 in online gambling debt. Then I gave him the money to pay it off, like the idiot I am. So yes, I was heavily irritated with him given I was in nursing school and working at the same time. That's not even the icing on the cake that he conveniently left out. I was supposed to be expecting our first child this summer and I unfortunately miscarried. Instead of comforting me like a decent human being, he degraded me, blamed me for overworking myself, and said I caused the miscarriage myself. He randomly refused to sleep in the same bed as me until I later found out that he didn't find me attractive anymore and that he was disgusted by my body. I was depressed for months leading up to this and cried myself to sleep because I felt like I wasn't even good enough and developed an eating disorder. I guess he felt like verbally abusing me wasn't good enough but started having an affair with my best friend since kindergarten. He was so stupid to leave his iPhone messages and iCloud sync to his iPad, so I knew everything he was saying about me. I was depressed for 3 weeks before cheating on him and hoping it was just a bad dream that a boy that was my first love and everything could hurt and hate me so much. So yes, last weekend when he said he was going out of town to see his dad, I knew he was lying and was going to actually spend the weekend with my best friend. So yes, I called his brother over to help install something, and his brother has always flirted with me, and I knew Mike was always jealous of his brother. It's quite pathetic when you think about it. His brother is on track to be a doctor and had multiple full-ride scholarships to multiple schools and is everyone's obvious choice between them because he's actually a decent person. So yes, I screwed his brother all weekend and it was the best I felt in a long time. Is that morally wrong? Probably, but I needed to do it for my own sanity and to burn that bridge with our relationship so I can be done completely. The rest is directly to Mike since he blocked me. You don't get to play the victim online and act like you weren't actively trying to break me for these past 3 years. You made me feel worthless and that I wasn't good enough to get anyone else besides you. I hate that I wasted so much time on you, but I now realize I wasn't the problem. It was you. I hope you get help because you actually are a narcissist, and I pray for any other girl that comes in contact with you. Besides Annie, because you guys deserve each other. P.S. Give me back my damn dishes, pots, and knives. You know your ass didn't buy them, let alone use it.
Am I wrong for pre-gaming my wife's dinners? My wife and I are both 32 and just got married and moved in together 5 months ago. And to put it plainly, my wife has simply not made nearly enough food for me. And this is not the kind of situation where I'm constantly agitated at her for incompetence or anything like that. I would be more than happy to microwave a burrito or to whip up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I can't. My wife has every single night of our marriage done the same thing. She'll make me a tiny dinner. I'm talking like a Chinese chicken salad with 30 grams of chicken and 10 leaves of lettuce. Then it's arranged fashionably with dressing. When I finish eating, I'm still hungry because for a 230-pound man who works a physical labor job, it's just not enough food. At first, I tried to openly communicate with her, but she always took it horribly. She would adopt a 1,000-yard stare and then begin talking about how incompetent she is and how she can't make her husband a proper dinner. Am I wrong for pre-gaming my wife's dinners? At first, I tried to openly communicate with her, but she always took it horribly. She would adopt a 1,000-yard stare and then begin talking about how incompetent she is. How she can't even make her husband a proper dinner, and I try to calm her down with, "Oh honey, that's not the case, I just eat too much." Or, "Don't worry about it, I can make a bit more." I try to be overwhelmingly positive, but it never helps. She would always just get incredibly disappointed, cry, or take it out on me. Then she'd make the exact same amount the following day. It became hard to sleep at night due to hunger, and I lost 7 pounds in the first month. So I figured out my own system. On my way home from work, I started swinging by a fast food restaurant. So I would basically pregame her meals with some more calories. I really thought it was an amazing system until 2 days ago I was on my way home in a drive-thru and my mother-in-law was coming out of the restaurant. And she snitched on me.
I found out my female 38 husband, male 37, is taking pictures and using me while I sleep. If this breaks any rules, just ignore this. As the title says, my husband has been touching me in my sleep and recording it. For context, I take a handful of pills every day for medical reasons. They make me extremely drowsy, and when I'm asleep, I stay asleep. I'm very sex repulsed and I hate it, but sometimes I'll just let him have his way because I don't want to make him frustrated or upset. I just found out today when getting ready for work, he was sleeping and I couldn't find my phone, so I was going to use his to call mine. I tapped the screen and it opened up to his photos, and there was a recent video of him fingering me while I was sleeping.
It's so repulsive.
There were photos and videos of him touching me, fucking me, fingering me, spitting on me, and nutting on me. I was in fucking shock, and I just looked on in disbelief. The date of the photo shows this has been happening for more than a year. What do I do? I didn't confront him. I just went to work. I called him to go back to his apartment today because I didn't want to see him. I felt violated and gross the entire day. I vomited at work. I was so sick to my stomach. I just got home and I didn't know what to do. My husband is back at his place, but hasn't called or texted. I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole for making a joke when my friend told me she was pregnant? My friend Alice, 32 female, and her husband have been trying for a baby for about 3 years. I, 29 female, am child-free, but this has never caused a problem in my relationship with Alice. We would often joke about this difference, with me telling her stuff like she'll miss all the disposable income when she has kids, and her comparing my dog to a human kid. Neither of us got offended with this joking, and it was all in good fun. On Friday, Alice and a couple of other friends and I went out to lunch, and Alice told us that she was 3 months pregnant. I jokingly said, quote, "I'm so sorry. Let me know if you need a ride to the clinic." Alice flipped out and called me an insensitive bitch. I told her that I was joking, but she wouldn't hear it and she ended up leaving. She hasn't responded to my texts and calls ever since. Our other friends are staying out of it and don't want to give their opinions. I understand that my comment would come off as rude if I said it to a stranger, but Alice knows me, and this is how we joke with each other. Am I the asshole? I ruined my sister's gender reveal out of spite. Straight into it, my sister had been sleeping with my then boyfriend and only revealed the fact after we got engaged, so as to, quote, save me from getting married to a cheater. And because she felt remorseful and ashamed. I broke up with him and cut off my sister, only tolerating her during family gatherings, which I rarely ever came to if I knew she was going to be there. I moved to another state for a job and to start fresh, so I've been away from home for quite a while. Months later, I was told my sister and ex-boyfriend got engaged. To say I was livid was an understatement, but I wasn't going to let them disturb me from my life.
Wow.
I came back recently at my mother's request since she assured me my sister wouldn't be there, only to find out she was in fact there. I managed to calm myself and pretend I was okay with everything. Deep down, I was upset. More at my mom for lying to me, though. It turns out they called me for my sister's planned gender reveal party, which I would have never attended had I known beforehand. I never even knew she was pregnant. But I was there already, so I had to put on my fake smile. Night came, and for the first time in a long time, my sister engaged me in a conversation and apologized for everything and wanted to make up. I wanted to bite her head off and tell her to go to hell because the frickin' audacity. But then she told me about the gender of her baby. She already knew. To try to rekindle the times where we used to tell and trust each other with everything. At some point, as we were talking, I was reminded of when we used to be best friends, and honestly, I was tired of the bitterness and wanted to let bygones be bygones. I watched her plan out everything, spend a ton of money, excited and all, but just the night before the gender reveal, ex-boyfriend showed up and it took me right back to the past. It kept playing over and over in my head, how I was betrayed by them, and I got absolutely pissed at how they were happy even after what they did to me. I realized I never had the intention of forgiving them, so in an attempt to get back at them, I told everyone the gender of the baby right then and there. One glance at her, and she was on the verge of tears, staring at me with the cheating scumbag. She didn't say anything and just stormed off. It was awkward. Everybody immediately knew why I did it, so it didn't come as a surprise. Nobody said anything, and we all called it a night. I'm not going to lie. It felt good seeing them distraught. It brought me a sense of comfort. All their money had gone to waste since she was upset and refused to leave her room, so the reveal never happened. The house is quiet, but I can see the judgmental looks I'm getting from everyone, so I'm booking a flight back because there's no point in me being here anymore. I don't feel an ounce of regret. In fact, I feel peace and at ease.
Good.